Morning, everybody, and to this mid-session, how to create 24/7 customer lifecycle marketing strategy. This fine and is good with you. I'm a little bit nervous doing this because it's all virtual and obviously you can't see anybody. No matter how many times you kind of rehearse things, you all think of the worst sometimes. So I'm sure it's all going to go absolutely well. And I hope you find this session really interesting. In terms of questions, just let you know, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the box. The lovely Paul, he's going to be sort of collecting all these questions, and we'll go through a Q&A at the end. I think you should be able to see what I'm seeing here, which is my presentation on customer life management. Just introduce who I am. This is me. My name is Darren Winter. I'm the director of Duco Digital. I've got a big list of notes here, so excuse me if I do look away from the screen. So we are the leading online UK artificial intelligence and BCS training organisation. So ducodigitaltraining.com is where you find everything about AI and machine learning. We're also an award-winning provider of social media. That's on our digital marketing side, ducodigital.com, as well as PPC, marketing automation, websites, anything to do with digital marketing. We can help businesses, usually small and medium enterprises, but also consultancy for much larger businesses as well. We are at the show today, so if you've got any questions about digital marketing, please come and visit us on the stand, and we're obviously here tomorrow as well. So what qualifies me to talk about customer lifecycle marketing? Well, I've worked as a senior manager for Morrison's and Starbucks in the leisure sector for over 25 years. I've also got a master's in cross-cultural communication and international marketing, and also I'm a BCS trainer in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and more recently a chartered partner in marketing automation as well. So we can kind of talk a little bit about some of these examples and that today, and how this can really benefit business. Community work is really important to me and also to my business as well. So you'll see on the screen here, I do a lot of voluntary work. I'm the Red Card Town Deal Board, that's currently seeing how 25 million of government money is going to be well spent in providing Red Car. I'm also acting chair of the Red Car Cleveland Ambassadors, and it's marketing that positively talks up all the great things about Redcar in Cleveland. So as a place to invest and live and enjoy. I'm also organizer of the Redcar in Cleveland network. That's a voluntary role where we get businesses to Redcar in Cleveland on a monthly basis to talk about best practice, help each other promote business, good business practice, and develop networks. And that's a Redcar and Cleveland Council, that business growth team. The ambassadors, business growth team, are here at the show today, so go along and speak to them after the show, because they've got some great information to share about doing business across Cleveland. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll just move on to the next slide here. So I thought it would be quite helpful to talk through exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So people who are not really kind of clued up about customer lifecycle, if we can talk about customer lifecycle is, explain why we're talking about it, so why is it important, and actually showing what a lifecycle is, and some of the challenges and benefits of doing this, a visualization, how you can implement it, a little bit of marketing automation, which I've just previously mentioned, optimization service, and really benefit your business, and then any Q&A just at the end. So this person, if you're in marketing, you might know who this is. This is Seth Godin, or Seth Godin, depending which part you come from. In 1999, he revealed that consumers were shown on average 500 marketing messages. Now, as consumers, we see over 5,000 marketing messages every day. So you can see in a very short space of time, like how digital marketing has really sort of growth and the impact on consumers. So we're getting constantly bombarded. That's the point of this slide. Getting bombarded with different messages, and it's hard now businesses and marketers to cut through that noise. So if you're managing your Facebook pages and Twitter pages and emails, and you may well have seen over the last couple of years that there's probably a little bit of decline now in terms of engagement, and that's because of this. So it's much tougher. You have to get to understand your customer in more detail. That's the point of what I'm talking about. So what CLM? So I'll cut that down for short. So if you kind of Google this term, there's various different definitions. So I actually came up with, I was writing a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was a little bit confusing. People were talking more technical side, people were talking from the customer side. So here I've tried to blend the two. So I feel it's kind of about understanding your customer's journey through your company's sales and marketing pages, and then goes to the organization's key metrics to determine its level of success. It's really important that we start with marketing, or in terms of digital marketing, you need to have a goal in mind. That could be even as vague as just increasing your website traffic, or increasing engagement on your emails. It could be increasing your sales, just something kind of broad to start with, and then start looking at, well, what do I need? So if I'm talking about sales, am I looking for a 5% uplift? Am I looking for an uplift? But then you turn this broad goal into something more specific. So ultimately, we're looking for a SMART goal, so something that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, the time frame on there. So if you're looking for a 10% uplift in sales, you're selling your turnover was £100,000 last year. So look at your product and then see how more of the products that you need to get you that 10% uplift. And then you'll be able to look back to say, do we just need people to buy X, that 10%? Do I need 1,000 people? Do I need to get 5 people to buy 2 items? So you can see how much more easier this big goal that you need to achieve is going to become. And this all makes the process a lot more easier. So I talk about it. For me, I'm a massive advocate in terms about kind of customer lifecycle and the whole thing about marketing. So yes, we're digital marketers, but for me, it's not just about just building a site. It's about understanding the business in terms of what its goals, its values, what it's trying to achieve. And your business is always changing all of the time. Every single day, it's being made. So it's in the marketplace, and it's really important to understand as business owners exactly how often. For instance, you know, beginning of the year, we all had plans in January about what we thought the year would be like. Now, because of coronavirus kind of fallout because of that, all have kind of to change. And for some of us, because we've been so, we've had a lot of other things may have happened in the business. There's been a lot of change probably in all of our businesses, but we need to grapple with what that is. And that will affect the life cycle of your customer, about how they make decisions, about the information they want to see, and the information they want to hear from you, and maybe in terms of the service they're expecting from you as well. So you might find the customer life may have actually ended. So what you might need to have more meetings with the client. They might sign up more GB, committing to a 12-month, for example. So that needs to be, or you need to be gathering and then kind of like putting into a representation. You can understand from the team about what their challenges are, and then how you're best placed to address those, and then move forward to assist with them, and also move your business forward as well. But for me, the biggest is actually your company growth. So once you can understand your customer, you can see not just about helping that customer, looking at kind of opportunities for new products, new services, about geographic, whether you're in the right place, maybe alliances and collaborations that you may well able to strike in order to grow your business. these opportunities will go through, will become more apparent as you start to understand this cycle. You can also inquire, it can help you acquire, so that obviously growth. It can also have retention, and also more conversions and sales as well. And most of us are looking for conversions at the moment. And I think, second point, it helps to gain business, gain and maintain a competitive advantage. If most of your competitors aren't using this, and then you start to, then you're going to start to understand your business a lot more. You're going to be able to understand your customers' wants and needs a lot more easily. You're going to be able to understand their challenges, and because of all those other benefits I've just talked about, that's all going to equate to a competitive advantage for your business. So that's going to set you poles apart, be able to make decisions a lot more easy because of all this knowledge. You're not going to be in a position thinking, is this the right thing to do, or is it maybe we shouldn't be doing that? It's going to be, you'll be more empowered with all this information. You'll be getting it from the consumer. They'll be feeding you the information about the intelligence of what's happening out in the market to help you make those decisions. We see this, examples, we see this kind of on a bigger scale. If you look at kind of Spotify, they were once the dominant leader in streaming, but now it's Apple Music. And the reason is that people like Apple are followers, and they're no longer kind of industry leading. They're not the industry leaders in their sector, but it's kind of a bit of a clever for them. For them, rather than risking in millions in developing new technology that maybe nobody wants, they're entering established markets, seeing what customer wants and needs are, and then just creating what they feel is a much better service for their customers. They can see customers want Spotify, then they'll go and do something which they think will be a lot better. So that could be a strategy. Another example is podcasts. For those with massive explosion of podcasts this year, not just the coronavirus, but because now it's so much easier to create. You can just create one on your smartphone if you want. But it's about the benefits of podcasts for your business. So you've got search engine optimization benefits, so you can easily be found through other channels. So if I do podcasts now, Apple Podcasts, you've got Google Podcasts, Amazon obviously podcasts, and you're talking about your brand and you're trying to meet like new guests, or you're trying to enter new markets. If that's part of your marketing strategy, podcast is something that you are doing or you want to be thinking about. And the other benefit of that, as technology improves, is that most of us now have Alexa devices or Siri devices, and as such, actual voice search really being not really understood the full benefits of this. That's something that's going to happen over the next couple of years. So you can see that, you know, once you start to look at new markets and look at new channels, understanding where your customers are, what they're talking about, then that helps you understand where you perhaps like position your business and your brand more clearly. Efficiency, I think, is kind of an obvious here. So we're always looking to try to minimise customer acquisition costs. So if you're spending up to a fortune on PPC, spending a lot of money maybe on email marketing, and it's not about the email marketing, it's about the person that you're paying their salary and all the other benefits that you might have to pay for. So in terms of customer lifecycle, some of this can be managed an automated process, which we'll talk about later. So efficiency is another big benefit. Brand protection and development. Again, customer lifecycle, again, you're looking to try and grow your business, you're trying to protect your business, you're trying to have this competitive advantage. So you're trying to also be industry leader, but you're also trying to put hook in the ground. This is our market. This is what's about us. These are our unique selling points. Find, in Spotify example, other competitors will be coming into your marketplace. So you want to help you connect your brand and protect your customer base as well. What is that with new businesses or startups, they may well have advantage from in, but as businesses can see an opportunity there, then they'll start entering that marketplace as what we gave shows, and then they'll try to build something that's better and then steal that market, the competitive advantage away. So this is one way that you can really sort of get ahead of that. Transformation, a bit of a buzzword at the moment that you might be hearing quite a lot about. Definitely most of us have experienced that this year, certainly just through the networking that we're having to do, Zoom team meetings or so the virtual events today. So again, this way, customer lifecycle, we're doing this from a digital perspective. So if you're not very digitally savvy, this is going to kind of help you get on board and reap the benefits of digital for your business. The final benefit, I know there's quite a few benefits here, but this final one is really important. So 25% or between over 40% of business is derived from business. So that's really important statistic to remember, is that once you've got, a customer, then they may well be spending more with you. But if your business is not set up to be asking them or offering these additional services, then that's something that you're missing on, and then you may still to offer kind of complex services you do offer but you know about. So another way to sort of leak revenue out of your business. Okay. So I promised a visualization of the life cycle, and I do apologize, I've just seen a typo at the top there, there's an S there, be there, doing this late at night, so that's my bad for that. But I think of all the talking, it's good to see how simple this can be. So there's kind of 4 stages here, well I call them 4 golden rules to CLM management. So the first, client selection. So this is about consumers. So who are you targeting? What is their value? What is their life cycle? And where do you reach them? So there's 4 questions. So in terms of the question, it's standing personas here. So you may not already have one of your type, or you may, but are they accurate today? So who is your customer? So are they actors? Are they business professionals? Are they managers? Are they just like sales teams? Or is it just to public? But in general public, what's their age? Where they live? What post? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? What behaviours? You need to understand a lot more about who your consumer type is, ensure that it's all working effectively. And even if you don't do customer lifecycle management, then you should still be in this in your business or have a bit of an idea. Understanding their value. So it can be in a financial sense. So how much could they bring to business? So if, say, somebody comes in and buys maybe a sandwich and £3, £15 a week in terms of revenue, apply that maybe 48 weeks, and that's such a goal. For the kind of manufacturing sectors, it's going to be maybe steel, could be like big things, could be, but it doesn't really matter. It's the print you're using here. So you maybe be targeting a business manager who essentially is an influence decision to selling XYZ, and that would be worth money to you. Say you worth £1 million, £500,000 just for one item, then the way that you then structure this life cycle, you might be targeting 2 or 3 people rather than targeting mass. This is very, very flexible. The value, we talked about financial, to just mention influencers. So people kind of speak in the networking. One of the most important things about networking is about who that person is and the groups of in who they're to and kind of what they stand for. It's not a very good business, I suppose, aim to just try to talk to everybody that might talk nicely, but you need to be able to value and really assisting and help be there to help people. One of the reasons why we do our work, because we do believe in our community, to help you promote this out there. It does open up the funnel wider when you're doing good, but it needs to be genuine good, not just false promises. But there's two sides to the value, like I just said, so good thing to bear in mind. Understand individual life cycle. Each customer or each persona own kind of have their own cycle. So, for instance, person who makes decisions may pass decisions actually be made by IT director, IT manager, or business development manager. So there'll be other people in the chain. So you're very here in sales operations. Are you the decision maker? And that's what they're trying to get here. So it's like, what steps does the person have to go to get a decision in business? That's a question you can necessarily ask, but you can maybe kind of find out through conversation. And when you reach them, kind of covered that already in terms of, are they, do they live a lot on LinkedIn in different groups? Or they always talk about subject use and hashtags in certain terms of networking groups. Are they in the Chamber of Commerce? Are they in FSB, Tees Valley, or County Durham? So find out where they are, who they're talking to, and that will help you understand then where you are, and then maybe shifting where you're looking. Stage 2, client acquisition. You're targeting the right segments. So again, if you're in the retail sector, there's different stages of retail, so making sure, are you in kind of the fast-moving consumer goods, or are you on another side of retail, which might be selling quite expensive computers, electric, very different kind of market retail, and the sector that you're operating in will also have those kind of subdivisions. So that's really important to remember. Making sure that, again, you're minimizing acquisition costs. We've talked about that before. So making sure you've got an understanding of how much it actually costs to get a customer in business, and then get your aim, which could be sales, or whether it's increasing traffic, whatever it is, how much is it going to cost you to achieve that aim. Making sure that you're optimizing your service quality. The customer service is extremely important. So you need to monitor that along the way. And at times through growth, there are usually pain points, and it's about realizing that, responding to the customer, making sure that you explain things and you're putting extra practices in so those don't get repeated, and put strategies in for hiring people, maybe hiring the right people, and then just using channels. So if you're are you on Twitter and LinkedIn? If you're on Facebook and Instagram, are those the right channels? Maybe not. So you need to be in, maybe not because accounts, maybe just making it clear to consumers, if you want your customers, if you want to come and talk to us, we are the same sector as we are, and this is where you can find us. So stage of customer retention. So we talked about important retention. So it's to maybe offer to your customers to keep rather than let them try and bring a new customer business. It's expensive to recruit customers. So you need to understand your needs. Customer life management to understand this. Make sure that you've got offers for use of your services. Talked a bit before, so making sure that you maybe start services off a couple of years. Business has been growing after a certain amount of growth, but are those services still relevant? Do they need technology kind of built into it? Do there need to be other factors to be put into those products and services? So there's lots more questions for you to ask. It's like making you stay and making sure kind of maximum service quality. Talks about customer service, and again using the right. You can see some of these get repeated. So again, it's making sure that we still channels and we're looking after. And kind of fourth point here is client extension. So customer service, and it's about then what that feedback is and responding to it. So you might be talking about might not be necessarily to sense that maybe through email, calls, reviews, testimonials, in terms of they're looking for if you're looking to other people the same service as you, that alarm bell. So you might be on the verge of a customer. So, and this is all you need to be kind of aware about. It's to so one of the things about kind of this strategy, when you start, they'll start having other pain points and challenges, and some of those may well be services that you may be able to develop in your business to offer, but you may also be able to collaborate with people who are actually specialists in those services that you may well be able to bring into your business, and you've got this collaboration. So collaboration is a really good tool without overstretching your business. Specialists offer it, but then you kind of just do it under one roof. Optimizing service quality, again, we've talked about that, and also using the right channels. All of those four go through into this middle part here, which is looking after your customers, and that's where the handshake of the heart is there, because you need to love your customers and you need to be looking after them. So in terms of the challenges and benefits of managing CLM, there are quite a few. The first one is kind of obvious, it's resources. So it's like more time, more cost, potential front, but you can get savings later on. It's also making sure that you've got the knowledge, so you know your customers and you know how to operate, and also making sure you've got the right people in your team. It will be, might only be one or two of you, but that's all that you need. You know, you understand your customers and you understand how to this out. Anybody can do this, so you don't need to pay yourself or another professional to do this. We can do it, obviously. You can do this yourself. More importantly, is the second point here, is the quality of data, and this is really important because this is kind of hold on to historical data. Sort of 10 years ago, even for a couple of years, it pretty much could date. The other issue with data is that, is it permissible? And we'll talk about that at that stage. But also, it's like some of these people might well have moved on in their business. You need to make sure you keep this data up to make sure it's the right data. So you'll see these emails and telephone calls maybe just to check on you as a consumer, so that your data date, because that's what's important to their business, is data management. Understanding the patterns of behavior of your consumer is a benefit of making sure that you keep your data up to date. So in terms of like email addresses, it could be changes to phone service providers, all these types of things kind of help you understand whether your clients are growing and potentially where they are in their life cycle as well. In terms of action, I think hopefully we're kind of a bit more clear about terms of permissive marketing, but things like buying data lists and that are now kind of like frowned upon, and making sure that you're in things like GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018. So here's, I could talk about this forever, as you can sense. There's so much to go into. I know we kind of pushed up a little bit against, but I think this is really important to see how this works in terms of marketing automation. Everything we're talking about here, you can see kind of a good idea of maybe what an email service might be like in terms of using CLM. So you can see for an e-commerce business, you can see here you've got like recovery programs. Of people might do the checkout online, added an item and then abandoned it, or they might have bought something, so they've been programmed to say, right, now you bought this, are you interested in this? You've also got this abandoned cart recovery program, and then you've got these other you've got this trans-promo email, so there's like a cross marketing, so we're talking about cross-sell, that's where that might come in. And then you've got things like replenishment emails, so stock things being out that's now come back into stock, or it could be new lines, birthdays, loyalty programs. These are all examples of things that you can put into your life cycle. And this is not going to be great for users, but it just helps you understand some of the things that you can do. So if you're selling lifts or boats, then you're not going to be celebrating somebody's birthday, really. But on LinkedIn, saying to somebody, one of your contacts, happy birthday, is a good way for opening a conversation. And that's why people do that. It's making sure that they still keep themselves relevant into your in your marketing thought. Another couple of examples of automation here. Zapier is something you can use for free that can connect to your website and newsletter services to do automated things. It's very well in email specifically. For instance, something email address site, it passes it over to email software, and then you can create your own automations there. A friend of mine, Andy from Resilient Business Systems in Darlington, he's doing a lot with Power Automate and Microsoft Flow within Office 365 at the moment, and doing some really clever stuff there. So definitely have a chat with him if you're using Power Automate and Office 365. Some great things there. And another friend of mine, Zainul from Zestire, another Northeast-based business, he's doing a lot with automation, kind of in terms of here engineering, manufacturing businesses. Definitely go with him because there's things that he automated, which is custom built for your requirements. And Duco Digital with Upspring, so that's a fully integrated system. Marketing automation, it's all things about bots, the things we're not really mentioned today, but landing pages, email, and automated. But it's also about dynamic content in email. So creating customer personas in the content based upon those which we're going to talk about now. Here we go, a refresher of kind of talks about on here. We kind of got station videos by lead score. These are really kind of the life cycle management in your business. Might be just too one business to do, but you could just take out of them that's to your sector and build from there to get to know your customer. Personalization, I've got a few stats down. So 80% of customers are more likely to purchase a product or a service from a brand who personalized experiences. So this is why customer lifecycle management is really important, because if you get it right, you can personalize your business and your service. And you can see here the benefits of that. And there's here, you might want to have a quick across. So 7% of consumers in the team engage with marketers that are customized to their specific interests. And although they might sound B2C, very much for B2B, because we buy people, you like somebody, get on with them, you feel you can do business with them, then you're more likely to buy a person, or you will act as an influence in your business to purchase for a company. So that's why CLM is really important. So, okay, so we're just going towards the end of the session, and a quick recap. So we've talked about what it is, why we talk about it, kind of life cycle looks like, and the challenges and benefits, a quick visualization of a customer journey, and some of implementation, marketing automation, and the benefits of personalization of service. This is my contact. We're on the stand, so do ask us if you've got any specific questions. But I'll throw this over to you now for the last minutes and some questions. And I'm just ask, I think it was in the back of, I'm going to read them out.
Hi, Darren.
Hi, hey.
Yeah, good, thanks, good. Thanks for that. That was brilliant. We don't have any questions at the minute, but if anyone does have any, please feel free to submit them. You can put them in the live Q&A box, or you can put them in the discussion forum. We'll give it a minute or two, Darren, and if there are no questions at this moment in time, we can end the session and people can pick you up on the exhibition stand. Absolutely.
I do hope everybody's kind of found it really interesting, because now we're moving into this kind of, we're forced now into this digital market, and a lot of businesses aren't digitally, and they're still, when we talk to people, they're still not very confident about using digital. So it's really important for your business that you do have to now have an element of digital in your business, even if it is learning how to do Zoom meetings, getting involved in kind of some networking sessions. So to just build your confidence. A lot of what I've talked about is advanced stuff in terms of marketing. It doesn't need to be as advanced as this. This is a kind of a new topic that people have never really kind of talked for, but you can make it much more simpler. A few tips people about is I want to really get started with digital marketing. I've never done it before. So it is about understanding your customer, understand what you want out of your business, so what aims for the easy. But when you start to down, it is quite what are your selling points about your business? What's different about you? That if you have two of your competitors, I use there's 3 of you in the room, that pick you out of all those 3. And it's really because start looking at people what you perceive as great value. Actually, to some people, it doesn't matter. So this is why understanding customer lifecycle marketing is really, really important.
Darren, we've had a question from Hamish Newhouse. He's asked which shopping cart software is best for this type of marketing automation.
Well, this kind of guys. I mean, Shopify is a great platform. I mean, we do Shopify, also work a lot with Face as well. Those are great platforms because you can own your own website and you can quickly create it. The thing with those platforms is that it's about how you can connect it to third-party software. So, for instance, Squarespace and Shopify will easily connect out to MailChimp. And if you can't connect, if MailChimp is not your newsletter provider, you can use Zapier, which I talked about earlier on in the presentation. And then Zapier is literally hundreds of thousands of different types of software on the market that your website do search automation. So it's a broad question to ask, but in terms of e-commerce or commerce, in Squarespace, Shopify, and then you think like Zapier, and got the direct integration. If you're looking for much more advanced results, then that's when you need to be looking at things like SharpSpring or kind of like more bespoke CRM management, because you definitely need to understand how to manage thousands of actions.
Great, thanks, Darren. I can't see any more questions, so I think if that's it, we'll end the session now. So thanks everyone for attending.